Hey guys, I'm finally here with the video. Sorry it took so long, had many other things on my plate this past week and didn't have much time.
Do you really believe that science is the only answer to all of life's questions?
No, science cannot answer everything. We admit that frequently. It's not really supposed to answer everything anyways. It's supposed to help with the questions like how, what, or when, but none like why.
If God doesn't exist, why do you care if people worship him?
Because that prevents further scientific research. Can you imagine how far along we'd be in science if religion was not a thing? Teaching your kids to worship a god is just wrong. You are covering them from the truth, and you are not letting yourself discover the truth. In all honesty, I personally don't care if you worship a personal god, but when it starts to get in the way of my education and the benefit of humanity, I care. Worshipping God is not something that is just a whatever situation.
Seriously, can nothing create something?
I love this question. In hindsight, yes. It quite wasn't literally nothing. As I have said many times before the Big Bang there was a singularity that was infinitely dense and infinitely small. It contained all the matter that is currently in the universe today. Simple.
If you've never been to the ends of the earth, if you've never been to every planet, if you've never been to every part of the universe, how do you know that God doesn't exist?
You misunderstand atheism as well. Atheists don't have the belief that there is no God. We just don't believe there is one. There's no evidence that supports one, so we don't believe there is one. And I can reverse this one on you. How do you know a God exists?
What is the origin of life?
Abiogenesis. Most likely. Primordial soup? Ever heard of it? No? Alright then. Look it up.
If humans are animals, then where does our sense of justice, where does our sense of morality, where does our sense of what's right and what's wrong come from?
Evolution? If we didn't have a general sense of what we should or should not do, we would have died out long ago because we would have been too busy killing each other to progress as a species.
If you were given irrefutable evidence that the God of the Bible is real, would you become a Christian?
If there was evidence of the Christian God, and I mean hard evidence, then no, I wouldn't. I'd rather burn for all of eternity than worship a God who thinks it is fun to torture souls than when asked to prove himself doesn't because of blind faith. Also, a question for you. Why do you believe in a God that condones slavery, stoning gays, and killing just for the fun of it?
Tell me something. If evolution is real, and if evolution is really happening, how come there are no transitional forms that we can observe?
You just answered your own question. They're transitionals. They died out so we could become who we are today. And if you really want to think about it, everything is just transitionals for who and what will be here in the future.
Do you live according to what you believe, or do you live your life according to what you lack in belief?
What? Everyone goes around and lives their life based on what they believe. What would be the point of living my life based on what I don't believe?
If God doesn't exist and the Christian dies, the Christian loses nothing. But if God does exist and you die as an atheist, do you not lose more? Will you not lose your soul?
And Pascal's wager. This doesn't surprise me. Maybe I do lose more. Maybe I don't. How are we supposed to know? And to me, even if the God existed, I wouldn't want to worship him. He sounds like a horrible person from the Bible. Like, tells you how to beat your slaves, tells you how to hate the gays, says you can't wear certain clothes, then claims he gives us free will. No, that's asinine.
Hebrews chapter 11 verse 3 says, "By faith we understand that the universe was created by the word of God, so that what is seen was not made out of things that are visible." Now, just because we can't visibly see something, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
And I would agree with you here. There are plenty of things that we cannot directly see, like subatomic particles and fundamental particles, that we know are real based on science and evidence. Your God is based on neither of those things, so it still brings me to the fact that he isn't real because there is no evidence for him.
We cannot see God, but it doesn't mean that God doesn't exist. For example, we cannot see the wind, but we do feel the wind. We also feel the effects of the wind, and we also experience the movement of the wind. And so the truth is, creation itself testifies of an all-powerful and imaginative creator. And so to the atheist, I would encourage you to be open-minded to the existence of God and to the possibilities of having a relationship with your creator.
That's the end of that. I just want to say, most atheists do have an open mind towards the possibility of a God, just like we have an open mind towards the possibility of a multiverse. But again, with no evidence, we aren't going to blindly follow and tell it as fact. Thanks for watching. Peace.